You ever get that feeling that your morning news digest is kind of predictable? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to deconstruct the hidden formula that news outlets use every single day, and we'll use a real article to show you exactly how the machine works. I mean, really think about it. The topics, the flow, the whole rhythm of it, it feels incredibly familiar, right? That's not a coincidence. It's totally by design. There's a blueprint at play here, and today, we're going to uncover it together. So let's dive right in. Every good formula needs a definition, so we've got to start with the basics. Let's look at the blueprint itself and see how these things are even designed from the ground up. Okay, so our case study for this is from a publication called Trending News Fox. And you're not going to believe this, but they pretty much give the whole game away in their own fact section. This is our first clue. They call it a curated package of politics, global news, sports, and all the rest. So it's not a random spread of stories. It's a very deliberate mix. And just look at the wording they use right in their own intro. They're not just giving you news, they're selling you a service. This idea of getting fully informed. They're promising this perfectly wrapped package of the world. And that's the setup, right? That's the hook for the whole formula we're about to break down. All right, so how do they kick things off? Well, they always start with a bang. The first ingredient, and you'll see this everywhere, is what I like to call the global grabber. It's a huge international story designed to hook you from the get-go and make the whole thing feel weighty. And yep, true to form, our example article leads with exactly that, a big, high-stakes global conflict. This is such a classic move. By starting with something that has international significance, the digest is immediately telling you, hey, pay attention, this stuff is important, and you need to know it. But what's really clever here is how they frame it. See, it's not just a story about two countries. No way. They immediately zoom out. They're talking about the UN, about oil prices, about trade routes. They're making sure this big, faraway event feels like it could hit close to home for, well, pretty much everyone. Okay, so they've got your attention with the big global crisis. What's next? Well, here comes the pivot. It's totally predictable. They bring it all back home, shifting to stuff that feels much more direct and local to their readers. And here it is. You can see it happen right here on this slide. We go from talking about Iran and Israel to what's happening on the home front. The goal? It's simple. They want to make the news feel personal. And how do they do that? By hitting the two big ones, politics and the economy. And check out the details they use. The politics section, it's all about a name everyone knows, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and topics that hit everyone in the gut, jobs, the cost of living. That's how they make it feel immediate. It's about your life, your country. Then they move on to the economy, and look how they make it super easy to digest. They use this nice, neat table to connect all those big global things we were just talking about, like oil prices and global tensions, and they tie it right back to the local stock markets. It's all about one thing, showing you how the big picture affects your wallets. All right, so at this point, they've covered all the serious stuff, the need-to-knows of the world. But they gotta keep you reading, right? So now they switch gears. They move on to the want-to-knows. And this is where they start talking about your passions. You can think of this as the engagement engine. It's literally designed to connect with you on a personal level. And our example article, it hits all the classics. We've got football, cricket, movies, even the weather forecast. This is the stuff people actually talk about, and it's what makes the news digest feel like it's a real part of your daily routine. But wait, there's one more piece to this puzzle. And it's a really modern one, the social media engine. We have to talk about this because it's this wild feedback loop where social media doesn't just spread the news anymore. It actually helps decide what becomes news to begin with. So here's how the cycle works. Social media is no longer just a megaphone for news. It's practically a newsroom itself. The article we're looking at even says it. Trending hashtags. While people are debating online, news companies are watching that stuff like a hawk. And what they see influences what they decide to put in tomorrow's digest. And you know what's wild? The article is super upfront about it. It literally names X, Instagram, and YouTube as the main drivers here. Just let that sink in for a second. What you and everyone else are talking about online today is a huge part of what a major news outlet will decide to serve up to you tomorrow morning. So what's the big takeaway here? By looking at just this one article, we've basically mapped out the entire blueprint. And getting a handle on this formula, well, it's more than just a neat party trick. It's how you become a much smarter news reader. So there you have it, the whole blueprint, laid out. You start with that big global hook. Then you pivot to what's happening at home. Then you hit them with the fun stuff: sports, movies. Throw in a little lifestyle content like the weather. And the whole thing is powered by what's trending on social media. I guarantee you, once you see it, you'll see it everywhere. And really, that's what this is all about. This isn't a knock on the news. It's not about saying it's good or bad. It's just about pulling back the curtain to see how it's built. So tomorrow morning, when you open up your news feed, I bet you're going to see the pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the real question is, what are you going to read differently?